let's get back to this wonderful show we're hosting. How about that? Because our next guest, who, by the way, was a suggestion, or rather a request from our very own Madison. A demand. She's doing what I like to do. Like, I'm going to use this radio show to talk to people I want to talk to, right? Which is cool.
Right, yeah.
Now, Madison, before I enter her, was this somebody that you personally know or that you found and you were interested in?
Oh, yeah.
So I spent the last 2 years interning at the Cannes Film Festival, and I met Miss Rua Fay the first year, and she also attended for a second year. And when we got to know each other, we became friends. We clicked automatically, and I found out how cool she was because she runs this blog called Cinemasters. She's an absolute cinephile. I think she has like 20,000 monthly readers or so. That number might be wrong, but I'm sure she'll correct when she gets on air. But basically, she just goes around to all of the biggest film festivals and gets like a PR pass, watches all the movies, and reviews it on her website. And she's still in college, might I add. So.
Well, yeah, I was going to say, because she might be the youngest film expert maybe we've ever met. Certainly, probably the youngest guest we've had on the, like, actual guest booked on this show, at least since I've been here, Jim.
I think so, because even the young country and western performer who was actually doing Gretna Fest, there was a country and western performer who was from country and western royalty. I think he was like 22, 23, right around there.
And she's still in college. So Rua Fay joining us next. She's the creator and editor-in-chief of Cinemasters.net. Head on over there. It's a site she launched back in 2021 to share her love of film. It was how she could connect with other cinephiles. That word makes me giggle. And post reviews, essays, and analysis on everything from the latest releases to the classics. She's not just talking about the latest releases, although she's seen every single one so far that's come out this year, guys. She's covered major festivals like South by Southwest, Tribeca, Cannes, of course, and she just moved to LA last week to be in the heart of it all, so we'll talk about that. She's currently studying film at Ithaca College. She serves as president of the Film Society. She writes for the school paper. Her favorite directors, by the way, are Kubrick, Chaplin, and Waters. Jimmy's not. He's not here for this conversation at all. She's here to talk about the state of cinema, what's exciting her now, maybe pull the curtain back a little on what Hollywood is really saying. This is what I want to talk to you about, through the stories they put out on screen. So please make welcome to the show our youngest guest, one I'm very excited to talk to, youngest and maybe even the smartest, Rua Fay. Good morning. Welcome to the show.
Good morning. Thank you for having me, and thank you for that lovely introduction.
Oh, that's what we do here. We actually take deep dives into the people we're actually bringing on the show and figure out who we care around here. Okay, so let's kind of start with origin stories, by the way, because I noticed that, as Lindsay said, your three favorite filmmakers, essentially you are a fan of a Cold Eye, a Tramp, and a Trash Master is the best way to kind of think about all three
What'd you
of them.
call me?
I've been calling you that since the show began. You need to get used to things, by the way.
Fair.
So the idea that Pauline Kael, the great American critic, always talked about the idea that I lost it at the movies, that we like what we like and we shouldn't apologize for it. Can you tell me, of those three filmmakers, which one you fell in love with first? Was it Kubrick? Was it Chaplin? Or was it Mr. John Waters, who still, by the way, is hitchhiking around the United States, in case you people didn't know? We should get him on the show at some point. Where did you fall in love with the movies? I mean, I don't just mean like the movies. I mean fall in love with the movies.
I mean, the earliest memories I have are, so I was born the same year that The Incredibles came out, and I just absolutely fell in love with it. I was Mr. Incredible for Halloween like 3 years in a row as like a toddler. I memorized the whole script. And then as I got older, like one of my favorite movies was Moulin Rouge, and I watched like all the Baz Luhrmann movies. And when I got a little older, I started really diving into older movies. I don't think any of my like top 10 favorite movies were made past like 91 or something. Like I really do have a love for,
the dark ages.
Yeah, very much. But I'd say like my first favorite director was Kubrick. I remember like being 16 in COVID and telling my mom, "Oh my God, I just finished Kubrick's entire filmography," and she was like, "That's nice, but have you done your homework?"
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Go watch My Little Pony and get back to work.
There was,
Exactly.
when me and Rua were in Cannes, we got to experience something really special together. We got to see the 100th anniversary what's it called? A remaster of Charlie Chaplin's The Gold Rush, and she literally was like crying her eyes out next to me. So I can definitely speak to her love for those directors.
Do you remember, by the way, the first Chaplin movie you saw?
Yes, I'm actually about to get a tattoo of it. It was Modern Times. I just absolutely fell in love with it. I think I discovered Chaplin during a very sort of dark time for the world during COVID and a really tough election cycle. So it was nice to just really turn my brain off and just experience the pure joy and comedy of his movies. It was something that was very reassuring to me. And but I think my favorite of his is actually his talkie, The Great Dictator, because I think it's so hilarious that in the middle of World War II, he essentially makes a movie pulling the piss out of Hitler and playing him as just like a bumbling idiot. And I don't know, I just really admire his, I don't know, the balls to do that. I think it's absolutely amazing.
Yeah, and by the way, in case you guys aren't aware, is the fact that Chaplin would continue to direct movies almost to the day that he kind of shuffled off his mortal coil. He actually, I don't know if you know this, Lindsay, in 1966, he actually ended up directing a film called The Countess from Hong Kong with Marlon Brando and Sophia Loren. He never stopped working. He always had a deep, deep love affair with the American movie industry, which wasn't always as nice back to him. Okay. So let's talk about the project itself. You try to see everything, and I've been trying to convince Lindsay to go see Weapons. In the last
No, you
week,
haven't.
yes,
You
I
haven't
have.
even-
I've talked about Weapons with you. I remember I told you to go see it. I said, I know how much you don't like horror movies, but you should.
Oh, I tuned out once you told me it was a horror movie.
Oh,
So
okay,
I don't
okay.
even remember what it's called.
So what I kind of wanted to dig in with you, and then we'll open it up, and Madison will have a question, and I know Lindsay's got a whole bunch of stuff for you. But in the last week and a half, I have been to go see Weapons, Eddington, and Together,
And Superman.
Well, Superman is that is like the exact opposite of those three movies.
I know, but I'm showing your balance.
Yeah, there is a little hashtag balance going on, along with the countless stuff I watch on streaming and online and all that stuff. Do you think that we're in a golden age of horror films? Do you think we're in a golden age of scary stuff? That we are actually, that it's finally broken the confines of being a subgenre, genre, and is now actually just considered part of like what serious filmmaking is by everybody? And I don't mean like the people who love cinema. I mean like everybody.
I think certainly, and I think it's proof to these studios that it's worth investing in original stories, because I remember growing up in the early 2010s, horror was almost seen as like a very lowbrow genre. It was like these Blumhouse films that had tiny budgets but made a lot of money, and the stories, or people didn't think the stories were very good. But now we're really seeing this time where, I don't know, it's just some incredible writing that also happens to be in the horror genre. And it's horror films, like especially Weapons, that aren't afraid to add a substantial amount of humor to it. Because Zach Krager, before he directed Weapons and Barbarian, was on a Comedy Central show called The Whitest Kids You Know. I actually don't know if it's Comedy Central. But like Jordan Peele, they both started as comedians and have transitioned remarkably well into horror. But yeah, I think this golden age of horror we're in right now has to do with the players at the forefront and who are writing these movies. And I think you're absolutely correct. It's I can't wait to see what Krager does next and what we have in store for us with Jordan Peele's new film that he didn't direct, he produced. It's called Him. That's coming out soon. It's like a sports horror movie, and it looks like something we've never quite seen before, but I'm very excited for that one.
I actually am excited for that too. But do you think on that note, we talked about this, Jim, I can't remember what it was in reference to a couple weeks ago. I think we had on a horror podcaster maybe. Anyway, the filmmaker that the local guy there in New Orleans, Jim. Anyway, do you remember, what's his name?
Oh my God! I got Zach Krieger stuck. I got Zach Krieger stuck in my head.
First name D, last name starts with an H, I think. Anyway, whatever, it'll come to you. But we talked about the idea, Rua, that do you think? Because I was trying to figure. I'm not a horror has not spoken to me, but I do. I'm a songwriter, so I'm always looking for like, what's the meaning and what are they actually trying to say? And we got on the conversation that is the horror genre perhaps maybe one of the truest genres out there, because they say the things that they say, the harsh things. They say the tough things. They say the ugly things. Now they characterize it sometimes with slashers or, you know, scary scenes or whatever, but they really are hitting very universal topics that are dark and stuff that we need to grow and heal from. So on that note, would you say that horror is one of the most truthful genres out there as it pertains to film?
Absolutely. And I think you kind of have to look no farther than the best movie of the year, in my opinion, which is Sinners, because it is to its core like a horror movie, but it also has a very real message about racism, Jim Crow, and the residual effects of colonialism for Irish people. And it was just such an incredible thing to see. And not only was it an original film that brought people into theaters, but it also made people think and pay attention to these issues that we tend to sweep under the rug. So I think you're right. I think horror, what's that saying? It disturbs the comfortable and comforts the disturbed. I think.
My mantra. My mantra.
Yeah.
How I walk through life. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's what I'm writing on Jimmy's tombstone.
One of the reasons I've tried to convince Lindsay to watch more horror films, and why I think it's not a logical leap for people like Jordan Peele and for Zach Krieger to make the leap from comedy into horror, is they have the same structure. It's set up. It's set up and then payoff. The idea that you're building towards a reaction device, that there's an inherent reaction device that you can gauge the success of the artistic venture based on the audience reaction, whether it is uproarious laughter or a scream. And that the idea that suspense plays a large part. You kind of extend the thread as long as you possibly can to build up tension and then release it. And that a joke and a jump scare in particular have a lot in common. What are you finding in regards to what's coming out new and next in horror? What are you keeping your eye on?
Well, I tend to really keep track of movies before they come out and sort of follow their journey. Let me see. In terms of, I have a lot of movies I'm looking forward to. Luc Besson just released another iteration of Dracula. It was really quiet. Like, for a director as big as him, it didn't really make a lot of noise, but it came out, I think it comes out in the U.S. I don't think it's having a U.S. release, but I think that's going to be pretty good. I'm really looking forward to Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein, as well as Maggie Gyllenhaal's The Bride, which is coming out next year. I just can't wait to see how those two filmmakers approach the same story. Like, I'm just really excited. I think, The Black Phone 2 is coming out soon. I really enjoyed the first one. I think we're about to see another great wave of horror coming in the next few months.
By the way, Lindsay is friends, by the way, and we'll throw it to Madison here. You're friends with Osgood Perkins, are you not, Lindsay? You actually know him, right?
His family grew up, my husband grew up with his family, Osgood and Elvis, as well as Anthony Perkins. Anthony Perkins was one of my father-in-law's closest friends, which is bizarre. There's a lot to unpack there. But anyway, I digress. So Madison, we found out about you, Rua, through Madison, our dear beloved Madison with a T, who is also a film buff and a beautiful filmmaker in her own right. Madison, you told us how you guys met, but what would you say is the biggest connection that you two have? Why you're connected, like, finding your people and then keeping them in your circle so that you remain inspired. Rue is actually obviously one of those people. Why is that so important to you? And then feel free to ask her a question.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I really believe in, like, you are the company you keep. And when you meet somebody who also strives for excellence like Rua, especially being a girl in this male-dominated industry and being as young as we are, it's really hard to garner respect from others. And I think the fact that both of us are working so hard at such a young age to unapologetically, like, be who we want to be, do what we want to do, is really awesome. And so I need more friends like her. I wish she was here in Louisiana, but I'm gonna have to fly out and visit her. I didn't even know
She's in the other LA. She's in the other LA.
Yeah, the other LA. Exactly.
By the way, there are bumper stickers that say this is LA, not LA.
And not Lower Alabama either.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, Rua, can you talk about? I'd love to hear this from you, by the way, about the idea of building something and having people come. I'd love to know what the numbers are behind who's showing up to read your reviews and your insights and your thoughts. But was there a point where you realized, oh my God, I've got something here at Cinemasters.net, where something kind of clicked in, and you're like, or was it just I'm gonna do my thing, and if people come, that's fine?
Well, I have an uncle who's a theater professor, and he gave me this book called The War of Art by Stephen Pressfield.
So
And
good.
this was right around the time. This was about a 2 month starting into writing for my website, and I think it said something like, "You have a better chance to succeed if you're not making art to succeed. If you're just doing it for the love of it."
Period.
And I was like, oh, so I am doing this for the right reasons. And I think the real magic from it just comes from the consistency. I have a great team of writers, but I started when I was 16, and to be 21 and have 5 years of experience I really owe it all to my, cooped in COVID era teenage self. I can't really point to a single moment where I was like, oh my God, this is something special. I think it was when I got my first press pass to the Toronto Film Festival, and I got there, and I was like, Toronto. I love the way that TIFF does press passes. They give you 10 free tickets, and they say, what do you want to see? And I really enjoyed the experience of going to a festival with the sole purpose of covering it. At this point, I had already interviewed quite a few people, like producers and directors and content creators on YouTube, and I had built up like not only a reader base, but also like a network of people that were in the industry. Like, I think one of the first filmmakers that really took notice was the documentarian Kurt Tenney, who actually made my favorite documentary, Dear Zachary, and which is an incredible film. It's on Amazon Prime, I believe. And I found his email when I was 16. I said, you made my favorite documentary. I would love to interview you. And he gave me a chance. And I'm still so incredibly grateful for that. And as president of the Ithaca College Film Society, we actually had like a special screening of it a few months ago where he called in and answered a few questions, and that was incredible. Filmmaker Tony Kaye also like subscribes to my website, which is crazy. He made American History X, and he has a great new film coming out called The Trainer. But yeah, I built it, and somehow they came. People cared about my little website, and I'm so grateful for it.
You're so Field of Dreams.
Yeah.
She's also got to brag on her a little bit. She's recently
Please.
been certified for Rotten Tomatoes. So
I saw that.
Yeah, that's
So
a big
wait,
deal.
what is that? What does that look like to actually be certified? Because I go through that, read those obviously especially when we watch our like Western of the Month or whatever we do. I'm just always curious other people's takes. What is the certification of on Rotten Tomatoes? Is it like a qualification kind of thing, or do you have to submit yourself, or what does that look like?
So you could only apply for 1 week in March, and I just happened to look into it during that week, miraculously.
Meant to be.
Yeah. So normally, there's two types of reviews you can leave on Rotten Tomatoes. So there's the audience score, which just means that anyone who sees the movie, whether it be just like casual film lovers or amateur critics, they can submit to that, and it affects the little popcorn emoji, like the audience score, and those will have 10,000 plus reviews. But the critic score, also called the tomato meter, is vetted, accredited critics. And it's been a huge game changer for me as someone who grew up like using Rotten Tomatoes as my sort of like little mini Bible of like what to watch. It's been such an incredible opportunity to contribute to that little tomato meter score. It's so crazy. Like, I actually get like such a power trip out of it. I'm like, everyone hates this movie, but I'm going to give it a good review because it needs justice. Like, I don't know.
That's how you
it,
By the way, that's how you become the next Pauline Kael. I don't know if you know this, Lindsay, but when Bonnie and Clyde came out, it got trashed. Everybody hated it. It got the worst reviews possible. And this critic over in New York named Pauline Kael absolutely promoted the hell out of it, forced everybody to go back and watch it again. And it became a big hit. You could change people's minds, can't you?
Yeah, because people don't think for themselves. So to tell them what you've got to see both sides, and whoever finds which. So and then I'm curious back to real quick then on the you mentioned Dear Zachary, in that documentary, and that it's your favorite documentary. I just in the past couple of years have become documentaries are my current favorite thing to watch as I understand how the world and humanity works. What is it about? What is it that drew you to that? Why do you say that specific documentary is the best one you've ever seen, outside of the story being insane?
I mean, I've always been really interested in true crime. I think it's the homemade sort of scrapbook aspect and feel to it. Like, I really love the editing style, and that it's very much like kind of a one-man project. Like, Kurt directed, edited, produced, got all the footage for it.
He also wrote it and did the music for it. I'm looking at that now. So literally did everything.
I just appreciate just how much of a labor of love it was, because it's not like he didn't make it to put it in festivals or to make money. He made it to tell the story of his late best friend and his parents. And I just think it has such an incredible heart. And yeah, I mean, I've yet to see a documentary that has made me as emotional as that one.
Wow.
We gotta wrap it up. We have to wrap it up because we gotta actually preview the next show that's going to come on here. We can't thank you enough for making the time for us, and we are so thrilled that Madison got a chance to introduce you to us, and us to you.
Yeah, and Madison, what do you want to say to your dear friend here before we lose her?
Oh yeah, my one question. So I wanted to ask. Basically, we all know what Letterboxd is, right? I feel like that's kind of destigmatized film criticism. It's made it like a much more like widely available to the public, fun thing. And I wanted to ask Rua, like, how has that kind of changed the landscape with like the popularization of Letterboxd coming out?
I mean, I love Letterboxd. I think it's like, more than anything, it's given people sort of like a catalog of what to watch. It sorts things by directors, by country, by genre. So now all of these people have access to filmmakers from Russia or Iran or Mexico that they never would have known if they had just gone to, the regular cinema or watched Hollywood movies. I think Letterboxd has, I guess, made certain films more visible, and I really appreciate it for that, because I probably wouldn't know who Tarkovsky is if it wasn't for Letterboxd at 16 when I was writing about movies. So everyone go download Letterboxd. It's a great app.
Yeah,
it's good it's just good to organize your thought and remember, organize your film thoughts and prioritize rather. Rua, where's the best place they can go find you? Where you are most active?
I am at www.cinemasters.net, as well as my Instagram, rua.fay.
Perfect. Check with her. She does answer and respond. Rua Fay, thanks for making the time. Cinemasters.net. Check her out. Continued success to you. And I lived in LA a long time. Jimmy Mack lives outside of it. If you need any tips or pointers, let us know. And best of luck to you.
Thank you for having me. And go check out Madison LeBlanc's Ada on the Dock.
Shameless plug.
Shout out.
Shameless plug. And honorary Droog, she'll get that, by the way. Rua Fay has joined us this morning. Thank you for being a part of it. Welly, welly, welly. A little bit of the old ultra violence. Thank you very much, Rua. Have a great day.
Thank you. You too.